Welcome to my new short video where I make fun of your ships. Don't wanna be here? Did you click on the wrong video? Was you expecting some love for what you like? It's not gonna happen. Not today, because I'm not happy. Why, there's nothing to see here? Did you make me do a video on the ship that I love the most? Do you think that was a good idea? You don't think I would do it? You think I walked right into your trap? No. You, sir, walked right into my trap. Let's talk about it. Some ships in EVE are sleek and elegant, and some ships are brutal war machines designed to crush anything in their path. And then there's the NYX, a ship that looks it should be parked outside a 5-star resort, but instead launches enough fighter drones to depopulate a small planet. This Gallente supercarrier is absurdly large, obscenely powerful, and so expensive that just undocking one makes you a high-profile target. It doesn't use traditional weapons, because why fire guns when you can send an entire fleet of autonomous murder machines instead? It does not fit in anywhere, because this thing is so massive that it's practically have its own gravitational pull. It doesn't even need to look intimidating, because if you see one on grid, you're already in trouble. If the NYX had a motto, it would be, why fight fair when you can fight at 10,000 kilometers away and still win? Let's break down why the NYX looks like a flying intergalactic cruise liner that also moonlights as a weapon of mass destruction. The first thing that you notice about the NYX is that it looks like it should be displayed in an art museum, not a battlefield. The hull is curved, streamlined and perfectly symmetrical, like someone designed it using the golden ratio just to flex on other ship engineers. The front is sleek and elongated, giving it the aerodynamic finesse of a deep space yacht that has been genetically optimized for good looks. The entire structure flows together, making it one of the most visually pleasing capital ships in the game. It doesn't look like it belongs in a fleet battle. It looks like it belongs in a high-budget sci-fi movie where the evil billionaire lives in space. Now, if the NYX was a car, it would be $1 million hypercar that only exists in limited quantities because no one can actually afford to buy one. Now, the front of the NYX is so smooth and deadly looking that it practically drips with overconfidence. The hull curves forward with a subtle, menacing arc, almost as if it's constantly smirking at whatever poor fleet commander just realized that they made a terrible mistake. The surface is covered in faint glowing lights, because why have armor plating when you can have ambient mood lighting instead? The cockpit is so seemingly integrated into the hull, it's not even clear where the ship is actually piloted from. The ship does not have a front in traditional sense, it just have an attitude. Now, if NYX was a gaming character, it would be the smug billionaire villain in every cyberpunk story who never gets their hand dirty, but always win anyway. Gallente ships are known for looking sleek and stylish, but the NYX take it to the next level. The armor plating is so seemingly fused to the hull that it's almost impossible to tell where the structure ends and the armor begins. The ship is so large that it could fit even more NYXs inside it and still have a room for a bar, a gym and a dance floor. The glowing green lights along the surface do not make it look good, it make it look expensive, and the ship doesn't need to flex. It just exists, and every other ship just immediately feels like a rusted out cargo hauler in comparison. If the NYX were a luxury product, it would be that 1 million wristwatch that no one actually needs, but everyone wants it anyway. Let's talk about the massive sweeping wings of the NYX. They extend outwards in a way that serves absolutely no practical function, because when you're this big, physics just stops being a concern. They flare upwards slightly, as if they're permanently in I-just-1 mode. They make the ship look even bigger, which is completely unnecessary but also completely perfect. The wings are not here to help with mobility, the wings are here to remind everyone else that they are flying inferior ships. If the NYX were a personality, then these wings would be the same as wearing a costume-tailored designer suit to a casual brunch just to flex. The NYX does not go places, it arrives. The thrusters are oversized and perfectly placed, making it look like it could hit warp speed just by making an entrance. It drifts through space with the effortless grace of a spaceship that knows it will never have to run from anything. It moves with a slow, deliberate confidence, because when you're this big, nothing is actually urgent. Now, the NYX do not engage in direct combat. It does not lower itself to petty skirmishes. The NYX send fighters. It is one of the most powerful drone platforms in the game, meaning it does not have to get close to the battle to win it. It can launch an absurd number of fighter squadrons, each of which is more dangerous than some entire fleets. It isn't just a ship, it's a mobile command center for automated destruction. If the NYX was a video game boss, it would destroy the console itself. If the ship had crew members, what would the inside of a NYX look like? Well, the hallways would be quiet, dimly lit, and intimidatingly expensive looking. The crew would have been dressed in designer military uniforms that serve no real function other than looking incredible. The command center would look more like a luxury office than a warship bridge. No one accidentally flies the NYX. If you own a NYX, you already won the game. You're just waiting for everyone else to realize it. If the NYX was a house, it would be a massive, ultra-modern penthouse overlooking an entire city with a helipad, just because. At this point you might be wondering, why does the NYX look like a spaceship designed by an architect instead of an engineer? And the answer? Because sometimes Gallente engineers succeed. They do not design ships, they design statements. They build ships that are so cool looking that it's actually make them better in battle, and in that respect, they absolutely nailed it. The NYX is not here to fight. The NYX is not here to prove itself. The NYX is here to remind you that you will never be this rich, never be this powerful, or this stylish. Long live the Gallente space flex. What? What do you mean unfair? I have to do it again? No, damn it. Some ships in EVE strike fear into their enemies. Some ships are designed with practical, tactical efficiency. And then there is the NYX. A ship that exists purely to look expensive, die in a humiliating fashion, and make everyone involved regret their life choices. This Gallente supercarrier is supposed to be one of the most powerful ships in the game, and instead, it is the universe's most glorified, slow-moving loot piñata. It does use traditional weapons because firing actual guns would be beneath it. It costs more than most players will ever make, ensuring that every loss is both a financial and emotional catastrophe. It is so big that you can't even pretend to hide it, meaning every fleet on the server knows where you are the second you undock. If the NYX had a motto, it would be, I'm large, expensive, and I will absolutely die because the pilot got distracted by Netflix. So let's talk about why the NYX is one of the dumbest ships to ever exist. The first thing that you notice about the NYX is that it looks like it was designed by an architect who was paid entirely in wine and bad ideas. The hull is sleek and curved, like it's trying to be an art piece instead of a functional war machine. The front is elongated, as if it's leaning forward, whispering, "Please do not shoot me." The middle section is absurdly wide, making it look like it was designed by a guy who just got divorced and wanted his spaceship to compensate for it. This is not a ship built for practicality. This is a spaceship that wants to be a luxury super yacht, but unfortunately was born in a war zone. If the NYX was a person, it would be that guy who buys a sports car at 50, starts wearing sunglasses indoors and insists he still got it, just like me. The front of the NYX is so smooth and stylish that you almost forget it's completely useless. The nose curves forward, like it's too cool to participate in fights. The cockpit is so buried in the hull that no one actually knows where it is, because the NYX pilots do not need to see, they just need to cry when they lose the ship. The whole design screams expensive mistake, like a futuristic private jet that somehow got lost in the war zone. It does not look intimidating. It does not look functional. It looks like the kind of ship that someone on docks immediately regrets and then watches in horror as it gets tackled by a frigate. If the NYX was a person, it would be the guy who spent 5,000 on a watch just to realize it doesn't even tell the correct time. Gallente ships are usually elegant and well armored. What about the NYX? Well, the hull is smooth and beautiful, which is a problem because it makes every enemy pilot want to shoot it just to ruin the paint job. The glowing lights make it look like it belongs in a showroom, not in a battlefield. The armor is technically strong, but let's be real, no amount of armor can save you when you're this big and dumb. This ship isn't built for survival. This ship is built for dramatic, expensive death that get posted on Reddit within minutes. If the NYX was a real world object, it would be a Lamborghini that just ran out of gas in the middle of a war zone. Now let's talk about the NYX gigantic sweeping wings. They do not do anything except make the ship look more obnoxious. They make the ship easier to hit because being an obvious target wasn't enough. The NYX want to be an easy target too. They serve no real functions, but they do make sure that every shipwreck look extra majestic. These wings are not here to help you survive. These wings are here to remind everyone that you spent too much money on a ship that was always going to explode. If the NYX was a person, these wings would be equivalent to wearing a tuxedo to a paintball match. The NYX is technically a fast capital ship, but do you know what that really means? Absolutely nothing. The thrusters are massive and dramatic, making it look like it should be able to escape danger, but it can't, because once you get tackled you're done. The NYX doesn't warp away, the NYX doesn't make daring escapes, the NYX just sit there, completely helpless, while its pilot internally screams. If the NYX was a getaway vehicle, it would be a stretch limousine trying to outrun a squad of police motorcycles. The NYX is not a direct combat ship. The NYX is a drone carrier. It sends out swarm of fighters to do the fighting for it. Because why risking anything when you can make tiny robots do all the work? It's incredibly powerful, but only when it actually has backup. It's an absolute disaster if caught alone, which is exactly how most NYXs die. If the NYX was a crime, it would be fraud. It pretends to be terrifying, but the moment things goes wrong, it gets tackled, held down and destroyed, while everyone else laughing. If the ship had crew members, what would the life be inside a NYX? The hallways would be plush and luxurious, because if you're flying a NYX, you clearly have more money than sense. The crew would be constantly terrified because they know that the ship is probably gonna die in a massive, humiliating fireball. The command center would look more like a luxury hotel lobby than a military bridge. No one wants to be flying a NYX. You don't fly a NYX, you babysit it until the inevitable disaster happens. If a NYX was a job, it would be a high-paying executive position in a company that's about to go bankrupt. At this point, you might be wondering, why does the NYX look like a hyper-expensive death trap designed by someone who has never actually fought in a war? The answer? Because Gallente engineers don't build ships for survival. They don't build ships for common sense. They build ships for people who want to feel important right up until the moment they explode. And in that respect, they absolutely nailed it. The NYX is not here to be efficient. The NYX is not here to be practical. The NYX is here to be an absurdly expensive catastrophe, just waiting to happen. If the Cinnabon is a space hot rod, the Rook is the flying office building, and the Thorax is a flying space dong, then the NYX is a billionaire's yacht drifting into an active war zone with no exit plan. Long live the floating billionaire mistake. And that, my friends, make it one of the ugliest ship in EVE. Alright, are you guys happy? Like the video if you want more, and subscribe, or I will talk trash about the ship that you fly, and I see you guys again.